Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Let's Taste with the Intrepid Wino. My name is James Gasbrook. I am very excited to be looking at the latest releases from Yalumba, from their Y Series range, which is the one of their sort of value-oriented ranges, and they recommend retail at about $15 each. And these are all, I believe, 2018 wines. Yes, they are all from 2018. Yalumba, if you are to aware, is one of the most important Barossa-based producers and one of the most important family-owned wineries in Australia, consistently producing excellent, outstanding wines year in, year out. So I'm very excited to look at the new releases. I believe I looked at all the 2017 side by side earlier this year. So this should be interesting. So we are going to start off with the 2018 Yalumba Y Series Riesling. The Riesling in South Australia is most closely associated with Clare Valley and Eden Valley. Eden Valley, of course, being a Barossa, part of the Barossa region. So quite pale, probably sort of slightly green colour. Very aromatic, very floral, sort of lime sherbet. Yeah, nice kind of ripe characters. Really concentrated, very fresh. Let's taste. Reasonably generous. I think there's a bit of residual sugar in there because it's just a little bit of fruit sweetness, but reasonably dry. Very clean, decent length for a wine at this sort of price point. The Y Series Riesling for me is probably the most consistent, maybe next to the Rosé, and really just shows the potential of Riesling as a white variety and how incredible that can be as far as value. You know, the fact that you can get a white wine of this kind of quality at this sort of price point is pretty extraordinary. So, from Riesling, we move to Sauvignon Blanc. I dare say there's probably going to be some Adelaide Hills fruit in here. This is actually labelled as South Australia, as opposed to the first one, which is labelled as Barossa. Sauvignon Blanc is probably most closely associated, certainly in South Australia, with the Adelaide Hills. Quite grassy and green, just a sort of a spicy gooseberry character, a bit of fig. Yeah, it's a little bit, there's even some pepper notes in there. It kind of has that slightly green character that I do see from Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc, but just without the sweat. Let's taste. Nice and dry, true to the variety. Quite clean, again. Very well balanced. Very well balanced. The fruit is not overt. The acidity is good. I think for a nice, fresh, straight up and down Sauvignon Blanc, this is actually really, really good. I'm pretty impressed with that. I think that's a very, very well made wine. And at the price point, I actually think it probably is going to outperform a lot of Kiwi Sauvignon Blanc. So good job on that one. From there, we move to Pinot Grigio, a variety that has just grown and grown in Australia, pun intended. Albeit, sometimes it's referred to as Pinot Gris. Generally, Pinot Grigio, stylistically, is fresher and lighter and a bit drier as well. Very subtle, but still true to variety. You know, it has some apple characters. They're quite shy aromatically, not really heaps going on here. Let's taste. Some generosity of fruit there. This is more about the palate, the Pinot Grigio. Yes, dry, but with a little bit of sort of fruit weight. It's a very good white wine. It's very good, I think, yeah, especially for the price. It's not really speaking much about Pinot Grigio, but I guess so that's kind of part of the problem with Pinot Grigio. It doesn't really have a super strong identity. It's fine, and I think, to be honest, for what most people drink Pinot Grigio for, it's going to suit that. From there we go to Viognier. Viognier is a variety quite important to Yalumba. They are arguably Australia's finest producer of Yalumba, and I always found that they could produce really excellent quality at a number of different price points. So I'm really excited to see what the 2018 has to say. Lovely, classic varietal, apricot kernel. You know, just a little bit of tropical note coming through, or exotic fruit. Looks awesome. Let's taste. Richness, creaminess, mouth-filling, a little bit of initial warmth from the alcohol. You know, this is really kicking it up here, up to 13.5% alcohol. The fruit is very generous. The finish is quite clean, which is great. I think, again, this is an example of looking at a variety in sort of purer form to see what the potential can be, and hopefully if people sort of start here, they're going to be willing to give more expensive examples to try, because unfortunately Viognier, it is a little bit more expensive for a number of different reasons, but no, solid with the 2018. Next one is Chardonnay 2018. Chardonnay, of course, one of the most important white varieties, probably the most important variety in Australia. White variety, I should say. A little bit talky, a little bit soapy. Some citrus and some stone fruits. Reasonably subtle, a little bit nutty. Let's taste. Just a tad sharp. It does have enough fruit there. It is kind of complex. Again, for the price point, this is a really outstanding example. It's not really giving so much. I think Chardonnay is one of those varieties that you generally need to spend a little bit more to get good quality. You know, it just kind of shows up how good the Riesling and the Sauvignon Blanc are at the same price point, and how, you know, you don't have to spend as much with wines like that. By all means, you can and should, and you will get much more. But Chardonnay, you need to start at a slightly higher price point to start to see more quality, more uniqueness. Finishing off with the 2018 Sangiovese Rose. And I'm sure I've said this on Let's Taste before. I honestly believe Sangiovese is the best, at least for me, the best rosé variety, and I always give the Y Series as an example of why it is so good. So typically pale, very light, nice kind of pinky salmon sort of colour. Much more aromatic than I expected. and really just gives off a strawberries and cream character. It doesn't really look like as much Sangiovese Rosé for this vintage. It's much prettier. It looks more like a Shiraz or a Grenache Rosé. Let's taste. It's a bit fruitier. Much fruity, actually. Almost to the impression of fruit sweetness. It is relatively dry, but it has slightly candied fruit. So I have to be honest, I'm not as much on the bandwagon with this vintage. I think I've seen it look better before. Again, it is extremely pleasant, and for most people, what they drink rosé for is going to suit them to a T. But I don't know. I don't drink as much rosé anymore. Generally, because you don't tend to see outstanding examples of rosé. They're few and far between. But for most people who drink rosé, they want something quite simple and fruity, and that's going to suit them, I think. But hands down, again, Riesling is the winner. I'm really impressed with that Sauvignon Blanc. The Grigio is fine. Viognier, very strong, as always. I don't really expect much less from Yalumba. Chardonnay, fine. Rosé, I guess I expected a bit more. But as always, thank you very much to Yalumba for very generously donating some samples. I really do appreciate the opportunity to look at some of the new releases from such an important winery. And if you'd like to have your wines profiled here on Let's Taste with Intrepid Wino, please do get in contact with me to find out an address. You can do that at my website, intrepidwino.com. There's also lots of different writings I've done in the past and information about my podcast, the Vincast. I would love for you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Intrepid Wino, one word. Watch some more videos, like some videos, share on social media, and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. There's over 200 editions of Let's Taste on the Intrepid Wino YouTube channel. Please do check it out. And if you're watching this video on Facebook, please do the same thing. Like the page, like the video, share, comment. I love hearing from people. It's amazing to get feedback. But guys, until next time, cheers.